All right, what is up, my brothers? The title of this video is Married Billionaire Eric Schmidt, who's, by the way, the former CEO of Google, launched Steel Perlo with 29-year-old entrepreneur Michelle Ritter while they were dating, a venture that has blurred his professional and personal life. I think an alternate title should be something along the lines of Dumb Billionaire Lets 20-something-year-old predatory girl touches pee-pee and makes some stupid choices. But I'm going to read this Forbes article. It's interesting, and I have some commentary on it. It's also a little closer to the heart because a friend of mine helped break this information to the public. I'll talk about more with that towards the end with my forum in January. Anyway, it reads, since leaving Google as chairman, Eric Schmidt has wielded $20 billion in his fortune. He's built an ecosystem of influence, overseeing a vast constellation of companies and investments and taking on prestigious advisory roles, and have cemented his reputation as Silicon Valley's statesman in AI, a policy whisperer to the Pentagon. But he can't make good public choices in life. Let's keep going. And for the past 2 years, a 68-year-old has extended that clout and commitment at least $100 million, according to 3 sources. He's deployed quite a bit of money to a startup accelerator called Steel Perlo. $100 million to a startup, to a girl that he was dating and banging in her 20s while he was married. Let's keep going. Schmidt's funds were intended to support the accelerator's business, launching and investing in new ventures under Steel Perlo's umbrella. But just over a year after it launched, the company was asking Schmidt's family office, which is Hillspire LLC, to pay its bills. In a January 2023 email to Hillspire, a Steel Perlo executive requested nearly $2.5 million to meet payroll and credit card debts racking up by the company and its subsidiaries that month. $2.5 million in 1 month to meet payroll and pay some debt. I'm gonna have my editor flash up Eric Schmidt and the girl that he was dating right now on the screen. Eric was copied, has the context, wrote Gal Treger, Steel Perlo's head of VC funds, according to a copy of the email seen in Forbes. Hillspire covered the payroll costs. Okay, so they made the man for $2.5 million on top of the $100 million that he already invested in them to pay payroll and debt. What did they do with a $100 million investment? Anyway, people familiar with the matter, she didn't respond to the request for comment, this Gal Trager girl from Steel Perlo, okay? Schmidt's extramarital relationships have been splashed across page 6 for years, though he remains married to his wife for 4 decades, Wendy Schmidt, but his role in Steel Perlo appears to be the first time he's publicly entered into a major business relationship with somebody he's been dating. Wendy Schmidt declined to comment. Of course, why would she comment on this one? The former Google CEO is typically quiet about the degree of his involvement in the sprawl of funds, foundations, and LLCs with which he is associated. Steel Perlo is an exception. He has publicly stated his role as Steel Perlo's executive chairman, and sources in a position to know recalled Schmidt participating in business operations such as deciding which startups to look for potential investments. He would occasionally appear in meetings alongside Ritter. He is a very, very active chairman, this is in quotations, Ritter told Forbes. We have a very typical CEO-chairman relationship. Well, yeah, typical because you're banging him. Is that the typicality of it? Schmidt has made it clear to his employees that Steel Perlo is Ritter's company, and she has full autonomy to run it. But in her role, Ritter appears to have overstated financial commitments and overhyped involvement from industry leaders in Steel Perlo, according to the documents and interviews with 11 former employees and people linked to Steel Perlo. In an interview with Forbes, Ritter claimed that the company has multiple backers beyond Schmidt, so beyond his $100 million, and has added that Steel Perlo now manages a total of $450 million on behalf of institutional investors and high net worth individuals, and had been deployed that capital since April. Imagine being a high net worth investor. I mean, I do these from time to time, and looking at a business deal and knowing, because it's generally public information when you come across stuff like this, that this guy, this ex-Google CEO, Schmidt, is banging a 29-year-old that he's invested $100 million of his money and thinking, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I'll put my money where he's put his money because he's porking this chick. It doesn't make any sense. Not an intelligent move. An unwise choice, if you will. But Forbes was unable to find evidence that anyone other than Schmidt had provided significant funds to Steel Perlo. Well, if it's a publicly traded company, then they would know that with 100% certainty, but I wonder where they got that from. And Ritter declined to identify other investors. Interesting, isn't that convenient? When pressed for more details on the asset management portfolio, Ritter clarified that Steel Perlo had only received a preliminary letter of intent from institutional investors, including a family office and sovereign wealth fund. She declined to comment further. Yeah, because there's nothing else to say, obviously, because you're lying. We were sold this bill of goods. This is a big quotation. We were sold this bill of goods that we were participating in Eric Schmidt's concept to fund the the future. Instead, it was a vanity project. That says a former Steel Pro employee. Okay, so employees were misled at this point too. According to multiple employees who worked with her, Ritter also implied that tech elite, including Jeff Bezos and Michael Bloomberg, with whom she and Schmidt attended several social events, were committed and involved to Steel Pro projects. Other times, employees said Ritter implied that Steel Pro and financial or business commitments from Middle Eastern investors such as Emirati sovereign, wealth funds, blah, 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 Bloomberg, yeah, okay. But they all declined to comment, including Bezos' office, or sorry, a spokesperson for Bezos. In a statement, Ritter said that Steel Pro had discussions with Mubadala, but the sovereign fund is not a formal partner. Okay, this is the Emirati fund, I believe. Not a formal partner regarding Bezos and Bloomberg. She added Steel Pro leadership regularly engages with business leaders across technology industries, including these individuals, though they are not formal partners. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. They never put their money where their mouth is. You see how you have to read through the lies, the comforting lies in the code in the matrix, as they say, right? Schmidt declined to respond to questions about Steel Pro's relationship with Ritter and his investments when asked. Spokesperson Matt Hilzik told Forbes that any relationship between Schmidt and Ritter isn't related to the sources of the business, and Billionaire intends to continue supporting Steel Pro financially. We have built something within 2 years that I'm proud of, and there are things I would, that I would edit. Ritter told Forbes. She added, "I'm really, really grateful for the great talent that we have. I'm also very grateful for the funding I've gotten from friends and family, but also from Eric." It's amazing how you can get $100 million from an older 68-year-old dude that you're porking, isn't it? Who's a very significant investor at the top. Yeah. Ritter, who graduated from Columbia Law School, again, Ritter is the gal that Schmidt is porking. She's this lawyer who graduated from Columbia Law School in 2021 after completing stints as cybersecurity research assistant at the Department of Homeland Security in a summer intern. I can't believe he gave a summer intern at the White House that just graduated law school at 27, $100 million to invest and say, yeah, go have fun with it. See what you can turn it into. Oh my God. Fuck. Sometimes the jokes write themselves, eh? As a summer intern at the law firm Skadden, she told firms that she was introduced to Schmidt via a law school connection. The same year she graduated, she was reported by the New York Post that they were romantically entangled, and they attended the launch of Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic rocket plane in New Mexico. Yeah, those seats in that Virgin Galactic flight, if I'm not mistaken, are upwards of six figures, maybe $160,000, $180,000, $200,000. They're quite a lot. I know one guy that put a deposit down for a ticket a few years ago. Anyway, a few months after Branson's event, the pair launched Steel Pro, which has offices in New York, Los Angeles, a party at Manhattan's swanky Zero Bond Club. Schmidt later described it as an AI and analytics company of companies that would invest in fruit salads of verticals from vertical reality to space. What the hell does that mean? That would invest in a fruit salad of verticals from virtual reality to space. Okay, they're calling this a fruit salad. The whole thing sounds like a fruitcake to me. Elaborating on that mission to some employees, Ritter invoked the empires of Bezos and Musk as an array of world-changing companies run under the person three form. Okay, blah blah blah. Steel Pro's name is something of a mystery, and several it's like Blue Steel, you know, from that comedy. Something of a mystery, and several former employees said they still don't know its origins. Forbes found an image of Ritter standing next to a small teak sailboat named Steel Pro. There you go. She described it as a gift from a friend that she named after the company, not vice versa. How does a 27-year-old that just graduates law school, that only worked as an intern at the White House, afford a sailboat? Let me think. Where did that money come from? I'll let you guys figure that one out. Beyond that, she would say only that she uses the name's origin as an interview question for prospective hires. It's a secret nobody knows other than me. Ritter says, I let people guess. To date, Steel Pro has invested at least $20 million into more than a dozen startups, such as the AI company Pyron, a crypto trading company called Terresto, and payment platform Kita. All things we've never heard of that are going nowhere right now. They're certainly not in the mainstream, that's for sure. It has also launched two companies, including a decentralized banking platform called Nox Networks, which Ritter claims pilot program with the Bank of England and the World Bank. Neither responded to comment of requests, of course. She told company that another company, StarX, of which she is founder and CEO. So she's founder and CEO of another company that they invested in from Steel Pro. That's interesting. She has Steel Pro. Steel Pro invests into another company that she's also the CEO and founder of. signed an agreement with International Association of Football Federation, that's FIFA, to beta test a cohesive football community through various technologies to be developed by StarX. Sounds an awful lot like one of Elon Musk's company. I'm surprised that he let that one slide. Anyway, FIFA said that it's exploring with StarX new ways of a fan engagement across our tournaments. Anyway, there's a lot of blah, blah, blah here. Former employees not getting much information, receive salaries from another entity, Adum Management. So there's another company paying employees of Steel Perlo, which is sort of like completely illegal. Anyway, it shouldn't be done that way as far as tax code is written. Schmidt and Ritter started dating and is managed by Ritter's father. Oh, sorry, this happened after they started dating, and it's managed by Ritter's father. So her father is managing another entity that they've invested money. Wow, this sounds like one big scam going on right here. Company serves as a contractor of Schmidt's own entity and used to pay off butlers, housekeepers, maintenance, and construction workers. Oh, there you go. He's using this company to pay for his own personal benefits on his home, his butlers, his housekeepers, and maintenance and construction workers on properties owned by Schmidt and at times occupied by Ritter, including the Holmby Hills residence. I don't know what that is. It's probably a nice crib. Ritter says Odem, which is the other company her father is the manager of, personally endeavor, a person close to Schmidt and Odem, had said that saved the billionaire approximately $5 million in costs on his property. So I mean, it's not money laundering, but he's inefficiently and somewhat illegally moving his money through a business to pay for his personal expenses as a business expense is what he's doing. I don't know if that's illegal in the States or where he lives in the particular state, but who knows? You guys comment below and let me know. Ritter posted a photo of her posing between tennis star Maria Sharapova and former Hillary Clinton advisor Houman Abedin. Shows, yeah, she's a clout chaser, that's for sure. As far as Steel Perlo, Ritter told Forbes that she is planning several announcements in the next 6 months. She added that she's currently in talks for new cash infusion into the company, though she declined who the investors are. When asked, representatives for Schmidt and Ritter declined to discuss the current status of the relationship. However, a person close to the situation said they're currently spending less time together. That's shocking. All right, well, let's get on the road and have a conversation about what's going on in this article, because it's interesting. You know, I like diving into these conversations. You know, when business sort of infuses and intertwines with things like romance, these investment companies, and here you have a billionaire. I think they said at the opening, dude is worth $20 billion. $20 billion, for those that aren't familiar with numbers that big, is a lot of money. You would have a difficult time spending $20 billion in your lifetime, even if you were very extravagant, you know, for the average Joe. So for him to depart or deploy 100 million of his 20 billion to some 27-year-old floozy that he met at a social event that he ended up banging and also invested money into her business is somewhat problematic. I think it's beyond somewhat problematic because dude's married and it's a really, really bad choice. From what I gather from the article, it's really him. I mean, like, it would have cost him less to get a hooker, if we're being honest. You know, like a prostitute would have cost him a lot less money to enjoy what it is that he's essentially looking to enjoy. But it's almost like, you know, he's one of these plugged in beta males, right? So Schmidt, although he's a weapon in his business life, you know, as the lead for Google and the CEO for many, many years, it sounds like he's retired now, accumulating a net worth of $20 billion, you know, good for him doing the work and all that stuff. But there's reputation management out there, right? Like, you have to be very, very careful about how you hold yourself out to the public when you're a guy like Schmidt. And it's a bad look when you're married and you're putting $100 million into some 27-year-old law school graduate whose only life experience is being an intern at the frickin' White House and a small stint probably as an associate at some law firm. She manages to procure $100 million from a guy like Schmidt. And it's not because she has a nice personality or she's pleasant to talk to. I guaranteed they lay together and they went into that area of intimacy. It seems pretty obvious anyway, you know. She gets a sailboat called Steel Perlo. Oh, it's just gifted to me, you know. Don't worry about where that came from. Can't make payroll and has a stack of debts, which in 1 month amounted to $2.5 million. Like, you can't make this shit up. Like, these jokes basically write themselves. I can't believe, there is no end to the level of simping that guys will go to for female attention and intimacy. A billionaire worth $20 billion puts his reputation, a portion of his wealth, which, if we're being honest, isn't that significant in relation as a percentage to his total wealth. You know, maybe even, you know, his wife being forced to untie the knot because of embarrassment. You know, like, you could, look, cheat, go outside of your marriage, do whatever you want. I don't give a shit. You know, like, a lot of women will even just look the other way and say, like, whatever, just don't embarrass me. But the risk exposure to her untying the knot and taking half of that $20 billion because of the embarrassment factor, because of something like this, is pretty high. This is a new breaking story. I'll link it in the description of the video. And I want to hear from you guys what you think in the comments. Again, the point of this video is really just to illustrate the extent and the lengths that plugged-in simps and beta males, although they can be weapons in their personal life and business life and economic world and accumulate $20 billion of wealth, can make some of the stupidest decisions. Like I said earlier, the title of this article should be "Dumb Billionaire Lets 27-year-old Predatory Hoe Touch His Pee-Pee and She Gives Him $100 million," right? Like, this is so stupid. Now, why is this significant? And why did I make mention earlier that a friend of mine made a major contribution of breaking the story? Because this is what happens, okay? You can lie to people, you can cheat them, you can deceive them, you can mislead them, but the truth is always going to be exposed and made public at some point somewhere. They'll obviously try to suppress it, they'll hide it, they'll deny it, but there's certain things that you can't do. This friend of mine, he's in my inner circle, he's in my community in the 1%, and he'll actually be in attendance at the conference that I'm running. It's not a conference, it's a forum, actually, sorry, in January 2024. So if you're interested in attending, there's gonna be a room full of weapons in there, some serious guys that are killers in the real world. They are world class at several things in their life. So if you wanna put yourself in a room where you're not the smartest guy in the room and have an opportunity to level up, it's a fantastic opportunity for less than $3,000. The link is below in the description. The event is in January. Check it out. Guys like this are hired to go out there and expose the realities of what's going on within political figures, influential, rich people, billionaires. And it's almost like, I'm going to call it a vendetta. I'm not sure if that's the way my friend would describe it, but it's almost like they are professional fixers and or shit disturbers. They can be fixers in the sense where they can manage a reputational attack, or they can be shit disturbers in a sense where they can be on the other side of the equation and orchestrate a public release of this information. And of course, you know, when you go out there and you collect this data and you interview people and you release the information, you have an editor and a journalist put all this stuff together, you have to be able to rely on some facts, because you can't slander people, right? Like, you can't just go out there and intentionally make up shit about somebody that's not true. The facts must exist, because you will be dealing with a lawsuit, right? So anyway, you guys tell me what you think about the nature of the article. Comment below. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Again, pinned in the top comment, a bunch of useful stuff that I'm associated with. Especially take a look at the January conference that I'm running. There's a few tickets left. We'll see you guys later. Have an amazing day. Peace out.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.